unanimous consent to submit for the record 5 letters from the leadership of this committee to the Treasury Secretary and 2 responses from Treasury to those letters.
Without objection.
Mr. Secretary Lew, thank you for being here. I want to state this for the record. Article 1, section of Article 1 of the U.S. Constitution establishes and makes vital the oversight authority of the Congress vis-a-vis the executive branch, and I'm sure you agree with that notion. But your Treasury Department has stiff-armed this committee and its oversight capacity, and its unsupported refusal to provide complete responses to this committee. That's unacceptable. Chairman Garrett already covered his concern. I also sent you a letter on August 22, 2013, requesting documents that were the subject of a FOIA request made by a public interest group. The Treasury's position is that the Department would provide this committee with only redacted documents that group already received. This implies that FOIA is applicable to Congress. Mr. Secretary, I hope that you would understand that FOIA does not apply to Congress, and that you will direct your legislative affairs staff that they will provide those documents promptly. Furthermore, in addition, on November 6, 2013, Chairman Hensling sent a letter to the New York Fed requesting information regarding contingency planning related to the U.S. debt limit. The New York Fed pointed the finger at Treasury Department, claiming that they needed the Treasury's permission to produce the requested information. Although we have rejected the Fed's claim that it needs Treasury permission, I ask that you commit to resolving this issue and ensuring that the committee receives the requested documents by the requested production date of December 18th. You can respond in writing. We'll move forward. Additionally, this question of prioritization of debt. Mr. Secretary, you've mentioned in the past that you're unsure of your department whether or not it has the legal authority to prioritize debt payments in the event of a failure to raise the debt ceiling. I voted to raise the debt ceiling. I think we have an obligation to pay our obligations. But have you requested from the or your department requested from the Office of Legal Counsel of the Department of Justice an answer to this question?
So, Congressman, on the question of responsiveness to oversight, I very much accept.
Well, I just asked for you to respond in writing for that. If you would address this prioritization question, have you asked or your department asked whether or not you can prioritize debt from the Office of Legal Counsel of the Department of Justice?
The question of prioritization is fundamentally a policy question, and I think as your comments reflected, I do not believe, nor has any president, nor any Treasury Secretary.
I understand this. You've established that. Let me ask you to answer my question.
And I've also said publicly that ultimately.
I appreciate that, but I've got 1 minute and 54 seconds left. Have you asked the Department of Justice's Office of Legal Counsel whether or not you have the authority in the event of not raising the debt ceiling to prioritize debt payments?
The issue of whether or not that decision can be made is fundamentally a presidential decision. It would be a communication.
I know, but have you, as Treasury Secretary, your department, requested from the Office of Legal Counsel whether or not you can prioritize?
To answer your question, Congressman, it would fundamentally be a question between the White House counsel and the Justice Department because it's a presidential.
Okay. Let me point you to the fact that a Huffington Post article from last week says the Obama administration took the platinum coin option more seriously than it let on. This idea that you have a $1 trillion coin minted and deposited at the Fed, and then draw upon that. It is, according to the Huffington Post, the administration did ask the Office of Legal Counsel for this absurd idea to actually be judged whether or not it's legal. Yet, at the same time, you will not say that you've asked whether or not you can prioritize payments. That is deeply concerning to me.
I'm prepared to discuss the policy on both of those issues. I don't disagree with you that the platinum coin is not a serious option.
Well, good. I'm glad we agree on that. Let me ask one final question on Volcker. Who is the primary enforcer of the Volcker Rule?
So if I could just go back, Congressman, on the question of the debt limit, the real issue is we must keep all of our obligations.
I agree. I agree. Let me ask you,
That's the
who
real
is the primary enforcer of Volcker?
The Volcker Rule is a rule that came out of 5 different agencies. As you know
So
well.
there are 5 different primary enforcers, or
Well,
is there
are
one?
different aspects of the Volcker Rule depending on what kind of a financial institution you are. You're regulated by.
Will you submit in writing sort of your view of this as Chairman of the FSOC?
I'm happy to respond to your question in writing.
The time of the gentleman has expired. As previously announced, the Chair now declares the committee